Hey class, we're down to our last two problems. The past one was from grams to moles. Here we're going to go from grams to grams. So this one is a little bit longer. Let's read it through. So how many grams of sodium hydroxide is produced from 120 grams of sodium oxide in excess water? This little statement, it does not matter. We don't need to look at it. But we do need to find out our given and our wanted. So our given is... they give us 120 grams of sodium oxide. So I know that sodium oxide would have to be this formula. And they want us to find grams of sodium hydroxide. Again, they're testing also your ability for nomenclature. So Google it if you have to, just to be on the safe side. So from here, class, I know I'm going from grams to grams, so I have to put my conversion factors. I have 1 mole. I'm starting off with sodium oxide and 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. Luckily, they're very nice and they gave us the molar mass here. So sodium hydroxide is 40 grams and sodium oxide is 61.98 grams per mole. So from here, guys, I have everything I need. I just need to start my setup. So I start off with my given. I have 120 grams of sodium oxide. Again, I'm going to use my 2 conversion factors. So I'm going to carry my units across. So grams of sodium oxide would be this first one, 61.98 grams of sodium oxide. And then I have 1 mole of sodium oxide. So again, I need to carry down my units for moles of sodium oxide. But I don't have anything else that matches it. So what's happening here is that I'm going from sodium oxide to sodium hydroxide, right? So this is very important, our mole to mole ratio. So here I'm jumping from one element or compound to another. So I'm going from sodium oxide to sodium hydroxide. Because I have a mole to mole ratio, I'm going to use the coefficients in front of this. So if there's no coefficient, it's just expected or understood to be a 1. So let me just plug in the values. For sodium oxide, it's a 1. For sodium hydroxide, it's a 2. We are almost done, guys. Just a little bit of patience. I carry my units down again. I have moles of sodium oxide. Now I can go back to using my conversion factor. So I have 1. And then up here, I would have 40 grams of sodium hydroxide, sorry. So all of this, all I have to do is to double check my work with my units. So grams of sodium oxide, cancel out grams of sodium oxide. Moles of sodium oxide, cancel out moles of sodium oxide. Moles of sodium hydroxide, cancel out moles of sodium hydroxide. And I'm left with grams of sodium hydroxide. Yes, my setup is good. So after this, all you have to do is solve. So you're going to multiply your top values, which is 120 times 1 times 2 times 40. And you should get an answer of around 9,600. But I need to divide that by the values on the bottom. So I'm going to divide this by 61.98 times 1 times 1. So it stays at 61.98. And here's where we'll get our answer. We will get around 154.89 grams of sodium hydroxide. Again, please don't forget this very important step. Your mole to mole ratio is where you go from one element or compound to another. Happy studying, guys.